Okay, so we're looking at the science revision pack today, and just like the English and maths, we are looking at just the basic things that we need to know. The science revision pack is a series of statements and features all the facts and all the statements that we need to know in order to answer the questions. So we don't have any example questions here, but we do have some key information. So let's have a closer look at some of the information. So, the first thing we have is a picture showing us the order of the planets in our solar system. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. 8 planets, and that's the order, with the Sun being here and then these being further away from the Sun. The Sun is the biggest object in our solar system. Mercury is the nearest planet to the Sun. People live on Earth. There are 8 planets in our solar system. Saturn is the only planet that has rings around itself. Our planet, Earth, has only 1 moon. Mercury is the smallest, and Jupiter is the largest. Now, in diagrams like this, you don't see the scale of the size. This is just an approximation, just to so you can fit it on one page. In real life, the distances and the sizes are completely different, and the variance between the sizes and distance is extreme. You cannot really show that on one page, so this is just an approximation. An interesting fact about Mars is that it is often called a red planet because of the color of the soil. Neptune is the farthest planet from the Sun. Okay, some other facts about the solar system. We're just going to read through this together and see if we can identify any things that we're not sure about. The Sun is so hot that humans cannot live there. That's pretty obvious. It's extremely hot. Our planet has only 1 moon. Earth is also the 3rd planet from the Sun. Earth rotates around the Sun just like the rest of the planets in the solar system. A Polish astronomer, Copernicus, was the first scientist to say that Earth rotates around the Sun. Saturn, we can see, I don't know what that means there, we can get rid of that. Saturn is a very distinctive planet. It has rings around itself that are made of ice and rocks. Jupiter is made almost entirely of gas. And Pluto is no longer regarded as a planet. So when I was in school, there were 9 planets, as some of your parents might remember. And there was a little tiny one called Pluto. But it's no longer called a planet anymore. It's a dwarf planet, so it doesn't really come into our planet system. So, these are some important facts. Most of this, again, it's not really science, it's just general knowledge. It's just things that we should know throughout our learning. So, the sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. That means in the morning, the sun comes up in the direction east and the sun goes down in the west. When the sun rises, the day starts, and when the sun sets, the day ends. We need to be able to explain that the sun rising is the earth is spinning, and that makes it look like the sun is rising, okay? The sun isn't actually moving across the sky, we are moving. And the same at night. When the sun goes down, it's not the sun that's moving and going down below the horizon, it's the earth that is turning, making it look like that. The earth takes 24 hours to rotate on its axis. We should all know that 24 hours is the same as 1 day. In the past, people believed that the Earth was orbiting the Sun, but that is not the case. Copernicus, who we mentioned earlier, he was the one who realized that all the planets go around the Sun. The Moon does not make its own light. It reflects the light from the Sun. Okay, imagine that the Sun is shining. The Moon is a mirror. So the light from the sun bounces off the moon, and then, we see the moon because it's like a mirror. It's reflecting light. It does not create its own light. And the moon orbits the Earth once every 27 days, approximately. That means, like, you know, roughly. We should all know that 28 days, roughly, is a month. Okay, some months are 31, 30, 28, but approximately 27 days is how long the moon takes. Okay, if we go into types of changes, we are looking at some definitions here. So we have reversible. We should all know what this means, and it's basically if something changes, it can be put back. In the terms, if you mix something together, like, I don't know, water and sand, you know, you can get the sand back out if the water evaporates, or if you want to filter, and so on and so on. Solute is what goes into the water that dissolves, and the solvent is the liquid, which is usually water. Solubility, the amount that will dissolve. So you could say that sugar has a high solubility because lots of it can dissolve, whereas sand has a slightly lower solubility because not much dissolves. Mixture, an arrangement of different materials placed together. So when you have a mixture, let's just draw a quick picture. You have some water and you have some stuff in the water, and it does not dissolve. Okay, it's just mixed in. You can still get it back. Okay, and you can still see it. And that is an example of a physical change, because the way it looks, the way it feels might change, but there's no new material. Nothing new has been made. It's just mixed. When you're talking about physical changes, that is also the same as, you know, if you have a chocolate bar or an ice cube and it melts into water. Again, you've not made anything new. You've only changed how it looks and how it feels. So, things to remember. Wax melts. So when wax gets hot, it can melt. Can it go back into a solid after it becomes a liquid? Yes. So that means it is reversible. Okay, we've been through all this in class. We've done some experiments. We should all know what these words mean. So, reversible means that we can recover the solute. So, if we imagine that we have wax can turn back into a solid after it's been melted. That's reversible. But also, if you put something into water, like I said earlier, you can get it back out. If you can get it back out, then it is reversible. All solutes have different solubility, different rates of solubility. So some things can dissolve faster than others, okay? And cinnamon is a powder that does not dissolve in water. So there might be that's a bit of a clue there. In the assessment, there might be a question that talks about cinnamon and asking if it dissolves in water, which it does not. That's it. That's all you need to know for the science test. The biggest thing I can recommend is that you just go through and you just become familiar with the language and do some experiments at home. Yeah, get a glass of water and mix some stuff in and see what happens. Get yourself familiar with what we have been doing in class. Make sure you don't forget it, because, you know, you'll be asked questions about all those things. Okay, so that's the science revision pack, and I think I'll go straight into the topic next. So I'll put it in a separate video for you. And if you have any more questions about this, just come and ask me or leave a comment and I'll answer it for you.